All right, well, we're 3 minutes past our start time here, so normally I like to give everyone an extra 2 minutes. But you're all here on time. Why should we hold this up? Welcome to demo time. Everybody having a good time at Tech Alley? Yeah. Nice round of applause. Josh Levitt did a great job getting this all together. I love Las Vegas so very much. I didn't realize you could just live here. Like, I thought it was just a place where you hung out sometimes, but apparently the drinking and debauchery and gambling has a backdrop of a lovely little community full of people with neighborhoods that have things like Home Depots and Best Buys, and it's like everywhere else, except, it gets really hot in the summer. So, today we have 3 presentations. Presentation 1, that's going to be Ben over there. He's got some cool stuff about AI video generation, and there's a marketing association he made a video for. I won't steal all his thunder, but that's what we've got. After that, I hate exercising. Raise your hand if you hate exercising. Okay, I'm just got to test this as a sanity check. Raise your hand if you like exercising. Okay, yeah, that wasn't just people not paying attention. There are actually some sick fucks in the audience. That's fine. Well, I recently started exercising. I take 10.5 minutes twice a week, and I got some muscle definition, I got better stamina, and I've been doing the JoueleFit thing we're about to see. And I'm about to go, also for those that don't know, I'm a little bit of a pothead. And we've been doing some scientific experimentation, and on the days I'm sober, I don't exercise as well. I don't understand it. It's noticeable. So James thinks that I'm doing this on purpose. I'll be honest, it's my best. But when I'm high, I'm focused, I'm in it, I'm pushing it. So anyway, we're going to see about the great 10-minute workout. So for those that don't know, we have 2 mics. Now, one of the mics, that one, is so you can hear me well. Now, of course, I'm loud, and this is a small room, so if I wanted you to hear me, I don't need the mic. The other mic here, that's an important one. And you might think, I'm not presenting. Why do I care about the mic situation? I'll tell you why. That's a great question. This gets recorded and it goes on YouTube. And if you are not speaking into this mic, this one here, that's the talking stick. No one will hear you. So at the end, there'll be opportunities to ask questions. And I love it when people ask questions. However, if you don't have the talking stick, that means wait till I bring the talking stick and then everyone can hear your question. So sometimes if I don't say that, people will end up, they'll grab the mic and then they won't hear themselves and they'll think, oh, I guess I don't need the mic. It's not for you. It's for everyone to hear your great question or comment. So let us also, just as a starting point, I think it's really great when people take the time to present and share everything that they're doing. I know both of the gentlemen here that are going to be presenting pretty well, and even the guy after them. So big round of applause for them presenting. Isn't this nice? They come down on a Saturday, they set it up, they think on it. And with that warm introduction, I will pass the shiny talking stick to Ben.
I have the talking stick?
Yes, sir.
I am the captain now. Nice to meet you all. Hello, everybody. My name is Ben Laifsky. I had an event recently that I want to talk about. My job for the event was to make the opening video, so I was just going to give an introduction to set some context, show you the video, and then explain the tools and steps I used using AI to create the video. So first, this is, my company is Hunter Marketing. We're a 12-year-old marketing agency out of the Henderson area. We have every manner of client, including a number of startups, help with branding, execution, web design. We help with customer acquisition, search, social, all the things. 2 of our projects that we have, other than our client work, we have a couple of projects that we do that are our community projects. One is called Network Vegas, where we aggregate all the business events in one calendar for the city, which is conventions, associations, chambers. Tech Vegas, more for this crowd, is a resource for the startup and tech community, where we're trying to get all of the events in one place, all of the players in town on our directory. Encourage you to check them out. They're both free, and if you have feedback or additions, it's also free if you have an event to add them to either site. The project that I was talking about is for a group that we've been involved with for about 18 years. The Las Vegas Innovation Marketing Association has been a digital technology association in Las Vegas so long that we used to explain what digital meant in the early days. It started 21 years ago. It's an event-based organization that brings people together. It is free for local marketers. If you're a marketer, just sign up and you can attend. It's paid for by our sponsors, which are big ad networks. There are also paid ways to attend if you're not a free local marketer. If you're from out of the market or you're in a different industry and you just want to learn, we have a number of people who pay to attend. These events are just great education and networking. And the annual Super Bowl for that group is called Digital Technology and Planning Day every July. All of the big brands in town, the agencies and the strip properties, usually do their budgeting in the fourth quarter, which is their fiscal year. So we get ahead of that by presenting them with what's new in marketing and what's available to them every July. And we usually have between 125 and 150 people attending these events, this particular event. And this year, it was an absolute pleasure because we were at Myron's, which is the jazz cabaret as part of the Smith Center, which is, if you haven't been, can't say enough wonderful things about the Smith Center and especially Myron's. I've been a longtime board member. I've now graduated out to the pasture part of the board, so I don't have to do everyday meetings. My business partner, Autumn Hood, is the president this year. So I was given the assignment to create the video that opens the show. I had done this 2 years ago, and 2 years ago I made a video using Runway and Midjourney that today looks like cave drawings. And if you know what's been going on in AI and how quickly the models have been released, what's possible today is just a dramatically different than what you could do 2 years ago. The assignment, I decided it's a movie-themed event this year, so I decided a movie trailer would be a really fun way to open the show. And I gave myself some restrictions. I was going to do it in 2 weekends. I failed at that. I spent a ridiculous amount of time on this. I wanted to learn new tools. Google had just released VO3, which is their latest video model. And I was really interested. I hadn't played with Google's video models. It was very interesting to me to use this as a chance to learn something about that. I wanted to make it fun for everybody. I didn't want anybody to be mad at me about how they appeared on video, which is hard. And I was hoping not to get sued, because my legal budget involves calling Josh. And that, so the cast in the video was going to be the folks on the board. And we put it out to the board, and these were the souls who were brave enough to volunteer. Can you see, or should I sit? Is it okay? Is it easier? So these were the folks that were kind enough to say yes. There's a lot of other people on the board, and I assumed that they didn't want to risk their professional reputation with me in that way. So I stuck with who said yes. Notably on the top left, Brandy is the chairperson of the organization, and that is Emma. And you can follow her on Instagram, Emma Does Vegas. She's got a wonderful little account. She's adorable. And she's the girlfriend of my little chihuahua there, Nikki, who's over there. So that was important context for the video. So if that's all good, we're going to watch the video, and then I'll explain how it was made. Do I need to hold the mic to the...
In a world experiencing a tech revolution, the future is in reach, but uncertainty is around every corner. One team called Lavima is leading the way, focused on three things we all share. We are all surrounded by marketing and technology, and everyone loves Las Vegas. Las Vegas is where the future comes to play, and literally everyone visits visits here. And why do they come to Las Vegas? Some come to see the big game. They come to see the world-famous Las Vegas Strip. They come for a world-class party. They come to enjoy games of chance.
I'm sorry, sir. You're out of token.
Blofeld. And to see unbelievably beautiful places. They come for world-class entertainment. And usually, what happens here stays here. They come to see gorgeous desert scenery. They come for thrills and excitement. And cheer for their heroes. But most of all, they come for digital technology and planning day.
All right. Could you hear that reasonably okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know. I like warts and all. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I was trying to cram a lot into a little bit of a project. When you're limited on time, and even though I went way over what I said, I was limited on time. Tried to do this after hours and not just, ignore paying clients. But I was going to talk about how I did this. The first thing I thought was really important was to have one concept. You can do so much with these tools that making that initial decision and having something you're driving toward kept me from going all over the place. I knew that I wanted things set in Vegas. I knew I wanted team members, and I knew I wanted to include movie characters in some way without being sued for it. There is a certain amount of fair use and parody that you're allowed to do, and I'm not exactly trying to make people stop going to Disney World or anything. So the tools that I used primarily were Google's VO3, which is part of their AI studio, 11 Labs, which many of you might know, does just amazing voice design, and Dolly in ChatGPT, which really helped take some of the people and turn them into the characters I wanted, or some of the venues and change them from Allegiant Stadium to Lavima Stadium and things like that. The first thing I did was just get all of what I was hoping to do in a giant list. All the ideas. What are the shot lists I might want to do? What are the locations that I thought I wanted to feature? I wanted to make the Bellagio as Oz. I wanted to have F1 and the Sphere in there in some way. There's just that whole list of things. The first thing I did, because it turned out to be the quickest, was to design the sound for it. So that was an original song, and I used, there's a number of these out there, but I used a tool called Suno AI. And this was probably the fastest thing I did, and I liked it, so I kept it. I was originally thinking of going with some John Williams score, but I made something that I thought had a nice rhythm to it and had good energy, and I just said, you know what, that's fine. The movie trailer guy I actually designed in a voice prompt as a custom voice. That is a feature in 11 Labs that I think was like a week or two old when I started using it. And the deep gravitas voice, and you design it and you get a couple options. And so I worked out all of that, because if you have good sound, everything else tends to go over pretty well. It's amazing how important that is in movies and everything. And then I had to set up some real organization because I ended up with a couple hundred files and notes and things. And if I hadn't really put some structure to it, I'd have spent half the time searching for files and driving myself crazy. So I had everybody send in 5 or 6 headshots that was willing to participate. I have been in Vegas 25 years, so I have a pretty good library of pictures that I like from all over the city. And then I just grabbed different pictures of the movie characters as starting points. I didn't use any of them literally. I made a spreadsheet with shot designs and prompts, and I'll talk about that more in a second, and a script that laid out, okay, this is what you see and this is what the audio is going to be for that section, so that I had some kind of structure and I knew what I was kind of driving for. Instead of making one long audio script, I just made an intro, and then each different section of the video had its own little audio so that I could keep the timing together. And also, if I wanted to move things around in the order of the segments, it wasn't like I had to edit some longer sound file to do it. One of the most interesting parts for me was the prompts for the video files. So on the video side, I have a spreadsheet, and I literally sat down in the evening and I was dictating into the spreadsheet just each different field, and each of these was a column in the spreadsheet, and it was what's the title of the thing, what's the subject, a little more detail, what's the context, what's the action style, what's the camera doing. And that's, the cinematography in these video models is fantastic, and it has a full library understanding what it means to have a dolly shot or a zoom or a panning shot. Every kind of shot that you can imagine, you can just tell it, I want this, and it can do it. The composition, what is in the frame? Are you doing something with mood and lighting? Honestly, I had a lot of trouble with mood and lighting, and it started to really bog me down. I remember some of the earliest movie parodies that I saw were like Star Wars in the style of Wes Anderson. And that was fascinating to me. But I found if I was trying to take all of this and cram it into one prompt and do a lot of cinematography or styling, I was causing myself problems. I needed to simplify what I was doing. So I didn't do as much of that as I would have liked. And then you can also do audio through VO3. Many of you have seen videos, very popular, where two characters will be talking to each other. But VO3 doesn't let you upload the audio. I had audio from all of my people, and I knew if the voice didn't match the person, that would ruin the illusion that that's my friend in this video. So I chose to go a different way and keep it a little bit simpler and just use that voiceover for almost everything. But what I did is I took, for every single segment that I wanted to have, I had this whole spreadsheet, I had all these values, I dropped it into Gemini, and then that gave me a first draft of a prompt, and I worked off of that and did editing on that. So it was like sort of this assembly line process just to get one shot done. And of course there's probably 50 shots that ended up in the thing, and there's many more that the cutting room floor got. There is a way of doing video. You can do text to video, so it's just a prompt. You can do video to video, image to video. What I did was, in VO3, it's called ingredient to video. But here I just called it character because I thought that was easier for people to understand. So I was taking my friend Patrick, making him Forrest Gump. I was taking a picture of the Las Vegas sign that I had. And I was taking those two things and putting those in as ingredients, which is what you call it in there, and then referencing them in the prompt. So each prompt was quite lengthy. So we created the assets, I created the assets in Dolly, loaded the prompt and the assets in VO3, then just basically made each segment I don't know, 5 or 10 versions of each segment, and then went from there. There are other things you can do in VO3 where you take, if you have one segment, you can extend it and make into a scene. That didn't quite fit my use case, which was better for me to go from thing to thing to thing. And that's where the idea of a movie trailer about why people come to Vegas was great, because I could just take us all over town, and it made enough sense for the viewer that you don't lose people. And then I used a different tool. I used just Canva to assemble it because I was so late with this. I didn't have time to give my editor any of this work to do. And you can set up videos in Canva and set the audio up pretty easily. Things I learned: give yourself as much time as possible because you will need it all. The second thing is play, but give yourself a very solid thing that you're going toward. If you're trying to go all over the place, you'll get nowhere. And then happy accidents. Some of the things I got were better than what I was hoping for, and I was very excited because it gave me things that were better than what I even asked for in a couple of cases, and I really enjoyed that and kind of worked from there. So that was how I spent my early summer, and we played it. It was a little better on the giant screen in the sound system at Myron's, but I think you get the idea. And thank you for letting me share. It was a lot of fun. I keep that one.
All right. So who has questions about this? Of course, most of us would like to be making videos in our free time. All right, here we go. Oh, actually, I did lie. I might need...
I don't get the talking stick.
Well,
hey, thank you for the presentation, by the way. Can you give us a gauge of your experience level when you were doing this? Were you just you used it the first time, or you've heard about it, or you had to get assistance from others? This is coming from somebody who's has real strong interest in it, but not much experience.
All right. I'm a daily user of 3 to 5 different systems. I had not used VO3 before, and VO3 was a brand new model, and some of that reverts you to the older model based on what you ask it to do. So I hadn't used that tool at all, but I was very familiar with creating images and video in concept, but I learned 10 times more doing this. But yes, I've used all of this for image creation, content creation. We have a lot of tools in marketing that we use for our workflow and ad generation and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I go to all these events where somebody is, I am the guru, and I just came down from the mountain and I will tell you about AI. I call myself a very, very interested and active student of these tools.
all right. Who else has some questions? Oh, I will go to the back here.
G'day, I'm Arthur from Australia. Where do you find is that borderline between the prompts and AI? Because I feel if you don't know what the prompts are, AI is going to try and figure out what you want. And if you don't know how the cinematography works, how camera movement works, or all those effects works, AI is just sitting there trying to work out what you want, consuming your time, and basically, yeah, making the project a lot more costly, not just financially, but time-worthy. Where do you find AI really works best?
I think you have to really be specific in everything that you want, and the more vague you are, the broader what you're going to get back. The more room you leave it, it will go in all these different, and you can give it the same prompt and you'll get many different things. The things that helped me, I'm a big movie fan all my life, so I have some understanding of some of the terms and what the different shots look like or what cinematography terms are. I'm not putting myself out as some expert on that. So I had an understanding of that. Also, the ingredients part of it was really important in making it specific. When you say use this and start here, that really helped it to narrow down what you're getting. So I found that those two pieces, like a detailed prompt, because you saw I went through this spreadsheet process. When I did all of that prep work, and when I put in, I want this character, I want this location, then it smoothed out the video part of it tremendously. When I tried to ask VO3, make this person look like this character walking in this situation, then VO3 was all over the place because I'm using too much compute to define basic stuff instead of asking it to make the motion in the video. So that's the workflow that I found really helped, is the more I specified putting in, the better it came out.
The prompts.
Yeah, and the assets, like putting in 2 or 3 images, put this in this video in this way.
Well, and I'll just, my 2 cents, of course. A lot of times with any of these AI models, the more you're engaging with it in context helps. And the other thing is, expect to have a lot of mistakes. You ask it for a thing, it's going to give you something, you go, it's not what I meant, but I see what you mean. Did you find that a lot, where you'd ask it for something and then it would show you something, and you're like, I see why you thought that, but that isn't what I wanted?
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's even things that ended up in the final that I just ran out of time on. And every hockey fan was ripping me because there's a 2-sided hockey stick in there.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I thought that was pretty aggressive.
I have offended the hockey
I'm going to
guy.
do it.
Andy. Oh my God.
Fucking Andy.
Anyway.
All right, who else has a question? Yeah. We got any other questions? Okay, we've got the Australian. I'll never go to Australia. Story for another time.
Would you have paid someone to do that?
Would I what?
Would you have paid someone to do that video for you if it took you?
I wanted to do it. Like this was the most fun thing I got to work on.
Okay.
I would love somebody to pay me to do it.
There we go.
Need to be bad at it and do the first one and probably the second to 10th before somebody might insult me with cash.
What about the use of the type of shots, like you mentioned earlier? Like if I was to go in and say, all right, give me 2 characters sitting at a table and give me every variation of what type of image style you could provide, would the AI would VO3 be smart enough to then say, I think I understand what you're asking, and then generate that for me?
I wouldn't ask AI to give me everything. I would tell AI I want a 2-shot, which is a normal movie shot, an over-the-shoulder shot. Like I would go and make selections, because the broader you are, the less likely you are to get what you're hoping for.
Well, and so did you find yourself? So I'm a open AI whore. So I believe Gemini is the ChatGPT equivalent in the Google Suite.
Yes.
Would you ask Gemini, for example,
Yes.
what are shot options?
Well, shot options is a pretty easy thing to research anywhere. You can get infographics, you can get anything you want. But I did use Gemini a lot because I figured Gemini would be a little bit more in tune with the VO3 being sister products in in Google's AI Studio.
It's a very active talking stick day.
When you said give yourself a lot of time, what was a time frame for somebody when you were like, you said that?
I spent
Soup to nuts.
weeks on this, mostly in evenings and weekends. I spent 2 probably 10 or 11 hour days at the end. And I spent, I don't want to add up how many hours, but it was a lot. The fun stuff was brainstorming in the beginning. There was a period where I was just putting assets together, but my team was kind enough to chase everybody to get their headshots and stuff, and I got it all organized. But what I found is the first couple took forever, and then once I had a process, then it started to flow. But I just kept doing more. I had 50 ideas. Some of them didn't really pan out to be anything really good. I have some really good stuff of King Kong sitting on the Hoover Dam that never made it. So I made myself have a time limit on the end product, which helps. Like, you have to have some limit, otherwise you're never going to be done. And I had a time limit because the event was coming up, and I did need to show it to my team, you know.
All right, big round of applause for Ben. All right, so, all right. So, James is going to get ready. I'll distract everybody while you get set up. There's a lot of hype on AI. I get a little fatigued by it, but sometimes there's something actually unique and interesting, and I'm not going to lie, the video stuff's been interesting. Show of hands, anybody been working with video prompting in AI, or is this sort of new territory? We got 1.5. I'm going to say a half because he's like, seems like a half. Okay, well, are you ready now?
I'm ready.
Wow, that was fast. All right, so this is James. He's outstanding. He's been in Vegas for a long time. He's got a really cool gym that actually has managed to let me, as I mentioned, start finding an interest in exercising, or more of a tolerance of exercising, I say. It's been willing to get there. But second AI presentation, I'll give him the talking stick and we'll hear all about it. Big round of applause for him.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Unfortunately, some of you guys are going to have to see me talk for the second time today. I apologize for that. I'm going to introduce an avatar today. Now, I'm going to go over the use case. I did not build this. I'm going to introduce my CTO in a minute. He's the one who's built this for us and many other companies. If you have a website, any type of e-commerce site, eventually you're going to want this avatar on your website. Our use case is, I have a lot of technology behind my workout. JoueleFit is a robotic fitness company. Twice a week in 15 minutes, we're going to take you to your genetic potential strength-wise and a level of VO2 max, obviously your cardio. So what I wanted on my site, and you're going to see the avatar in a moment, is I wanted an avatar to where when you got on that site, you could ask any question. And the avatar, unfortunately it's me, would answer that question. So the beginning of our use case is when you go to our site, you're going to see an avatar. It's going to wave at you from the bottom of the screen. When you click on that avatar, the avatar is going to answer any question based on what's behind. Now, that's the first use case. We also have a longevity website on the back end of JoueleFit, where we are going to screen and carry everything from custom supplements to red light therapy to cold water immersion tanks, everything. The avatar will also be able to answer a question, me or whoever we put on there, about any of the products. And if you ask it questions at some point, it's going to pop up the product and it's going to give you a buy link so you can go directly and order that product. So what it's doing is it's eliminating a lot of the customer service. It's going to answer all of your questions. And then we will go further with this. At some point we will have, if you're a female, you may not want to be asking questions, personal questions to me about working out. We'll have an additional avatar. And then on the website, we're offering a bunch of med tech products. We have custom supplements. We've got gene expression testing. So we will incorporate a doctor or a medical professional, functional medicine, into that avatar. So long term, if you think about this, we have a custom supplement. We do 23 gene expressions. Does anyone know what that means? You don't have to. From that, we create a custom supplement, and then we have 100 blood markers. We're taking all of the tests that you should be getting at a certain stage in your life and then iterating off of that. Well, the medical provider, the first time you go through that process, will get online with you in real time, live, answer those questions. So the next iteration of the avatar is, we're going to brand that person, whoever that is. It'll be multiple doctors, multiple, functional medicine people, to you. So you'll have a live conversation with someone. They'll go through all your blood work and start heading you down a path. And then the avatar is going to go on your phone. So you could be out, let's say, God forbid, you walk into Taco Bell, and you can say,
God forbid,
and the avatar already knows that you're a vegan, what your blood work is. And so that person on that phone will answer in real time any questions you have about decisions you should be making in your life. So this is the first part of it, so I'm going to bring it up here on the screen. And the avatar is really hard to look at, so don't make fun. Just 1 second. So when you click on the avatar, you're basically bringing up an email address. I'm going to go ahead and type in mine. And then I'm just going to type in a phone number. Not real, by the way. I think the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. You can see me in the bottom of the screen.
Ready to explore how robotics, AI...
There you go. The ugliest avatar you've ever seen. But this is an avatar. This was done of me. It's a 2-minute conversation I have. It's starting to respond. So let me ask some questions. What am I wearing today?
You're wearing a dark collared shirt or jacket. It looks like you're in the middle of a presentation or performance. The lighting gives everything a cool red hue, adding to the focused vibe. How's the event going for you?
Well done.
Okay, that avatar is me. It's kind of funny, but I'm gonna go one step further. I did not build this. My CTO, Manan Singh, is the one who built this. So I'm gonna have my avatar introduce Manan. Can you introduce my CTO?
Sure thing. Manan Singh is our brilliant CTO at JoueleFit. He's an enterprise solutions architect and a data and AI architect. He's pivotal in integrating cutting-edge technology into our fitness solutions, making workouts dynamic and personalized. Got any more questions about Manan or our tech?
So basically this avatar can answer anything that's behind it. Right now, it's just the JoueleFit information. Eventually, it'll be thousands of documents, especially when we get into the medical side. We'll have all of the studies. Why does the workout actually work? And you'll be able to ask this question, and they will give you the avatar will give you the correct answer that we want you to have, because we're putting that information there. We don't have our avatar going out on ChatGPT and getting any answer from the universe. So we control what's behind it. Tell me how often I've got to work out with JoueleFit.
You've got it. At JoueleFit, we recommend 2 15-minute workouts per week. With our advanced AI and dynamic resistance systems, you'll maximize your workout benefits efficiently and safely, making it easy to integrate into your busy schedule. Let me know if you want to dive into more specific details or have questions about the workout's effectiveness.
What if I want to schedule a workout?
You can schedule a workout through our platform. It's super easy. Just click the Book Now button to get started and experience our innovative 15-minute sessions. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
So what we can do directly from that avatar on the site is click it, and now I can schedule you and get you in the location because I've already got your information. So I want to bring up Manan. He's my CTO, and he's the one who built the technology, and he can tell you a lot more about it.
Click on the avatar to schedule a workout.
So I'm just stepping in because he's going to need the other talking stick that's reserved for questions because James is not sharing his clip.
Sounds like you're taking advantage of our avatar technology to streamline the user experience on the site.
Avatar doesn't shut up.
Here the users can schedule workouts and connect with the team directly. As for Manan, your CTO, he's done a stellar job developing the system.
He knows me.
You want to highlight?
You get him to laugh at a joke. No, he knows me.
No, but can you get the avatar to laugh at a joke? Does the avatar laugh?
I mean, we need to train him.
Tell him a joke.
We need to
Not yet.
We need to train him.
I would have to laugh and during the, it's a 2-minute video to make this. I talk about anything.
Sounds like you're moving in the right direction.
So-
This innovation
That's a good question.
seamless for you
So-
to interact and get scheduled through the avatar. With Manon, your CTO, you have a strong tech backbone that's pretty
Okay.
So, yeah,
Listen.
just talk over.
within the realm of JoueleFit, or
Yeah.
how your
So
avatar-
what I'm saying is that it's an interactive avatar. It can perform the action behind the scene.
The microphone up here.
Yeah. It can perform the action behind the scene. So if you're talking about some products and he recognized that somebody want this product, he quickly prompt that, and you can click buy now and buy the product. And we have other actions too, like booking appointment. He is capable capable on booking appointment. We have another versions. He will quickly figure out if our customer wanted to book appointment. He will show the form, he will collect the time and availability and book an appointment. So there's a lot of opportunities with this interactivity. We can show the properties, we can show the hotels, villas during the talk. Even we can just automate entire e-commerce platform talking with the avatar and asking what best product fit to me. So it's unbelievable opportunity. That's all. Thank you.
So to give you an idea about this avatar, my mom lives in Evansville, Indiana. I don't get back to see her near enough. The first avatar I sent to her, she talks to it every day because it'll answer questions about JoueleFit and what I'm doing. So as much information as I put behind it, and my mom is 83, doesn't know technology. She thinks this is amazing because she can talk to me every day. Just throwing that out there.
All right, so I have a question for the gentleman over here, if he could bring his beautiful face over here. So, for those that don't know, I'm an engineer and I build a lot of things, and I look at this and I say, this is cool. Now, James told me a little bit about the engine behind it, and it looked to me like it was cost prohibitive for my use cases because there's a pay per the time used on it. So my question to you is, from a technical perspective, is this like you build a local model and you run with it, or does this get farmed out to something, and sort of what's the overhead and expense on running something like this, if you feel like sharing?
Yeah, sure. We are using some AI model as a raw material behind under the hood, and it cost around 35 cents per minute of conversation to those model. So it goes for the CPU and GPU's cost. Yeah, this is all.
Thank you. All right. Who else has questions? We have the talking sticks here. All right. Actually, I'll give James this talking stick.
Don't sit down.
Thank you. For the custom data, are you fine tuning the model, or are you using like RAG or something like that for it?
Yeah, we have both the capability. Fine-tune as well as-
Nope.
Yeah, we have both the capability, fine tuning as well as the rack, so we can do both.
What are you using?
We are using both.
What? You're using both?
Both, the rack as well as fine tuning. So fine tuning, that's why it's only speak about the JoueleFit, and the rag we put the PDF and the knowledge base in it.
Oh.
So a lot in California and other states, accessibility is becoming a requirement for most major corporations. With this type of setup, specifically for like deaf or blind individuals using specialized equipment, has there been any work to comply with WCAG 2.0 or the various other accessibility requirements that have been required by most organizations that would potentially use this?
Give it to him. No.
Yeah, I need to do some research on it. It's very good part, but I have to do research on it.
I hate California. Well, no, Australia hates me. That's a different story for another time. Who else has questions while I have the talking? Oh, the Aussie does. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess with Australia as well, we're sort of taking on a lot of GDPR on collecting data and stuff. If you're out at that, it really does hurt. Also, ESG is a big thing nowadays on all the information you collect. Obviously, an avatar sounds amazing, but, there's the concern of where that data is going and where's it being collected and what's it been farmed to do. I guess, if you didn't know that one, you're not going to know that one. But what does the payment portal, when you pay, do you pay through an avatar, or is it just a payment gateway where you just put a card through, or is that something new?
Right now, everything's linked to a Stripe account. So when you click on that link, you directly go to the landing page and you can enter your credit card information. So it is a third party.
So you're not giving your card to the avatar?
Okay, Here we go.
This might be pretty simple. What kind of protections are you implementing to protect against prompt injection for your model?
Yeah, we are doing fine tuning very well to help securing from the prompt injection.
Are you very strict on your prompt input?
Yeah. I mean, prompt input as well as all our fine tuning helps. So don't go anywhere else.
All right, we got any more questions? Oh, we got one last question here. I decided it's the last question. I don't know, maybe there's more questions, but this is the last one.
Yeah, can you demo the actual workout? Like, can you show, and see it?
All right, so if I may, just see these machines back here? All right, this one here, see how it's got a handle? You pull. Okay, now there's another one over here. This one here, you push. All of them either push or pull, and I kid you not, I do this when I'm high. It's very easy.
What is the avatar will tell you? Oh, you're doing it wrong, or you're doing it right. It gives you a response out.
No, the avatar is not used during the workout. Eventually it will. There'll be an avatar trainer. Eventually this model is going to go in airports where there's not going to be a live person available. And so we'll have an avatar that pops up on the screen and shows you how to do the exercise and tells you anything you want to know. That's down the road.
Follow up to that, is there like a biometric device that keeps you raised?
It's adding extra questions, and even worse than that, no one on YouTube will know because you're not using the talking sticks.
So the follow-up question was, is there a biometric device that you're plugged into that will give you like your heart rate or anything like that while you're working out?
Yeah, eventually we will have that. Right now we're going to be processing your data off your biometric device, but eventually, yes, in the gym there's a device, low-grade Wi-Fi, that reflects off of water. I can see your heart rate, I can see your breathing rate. And we're also, during the workout, we're taking 50,000 measurements every time you work out. We've gamified it. You're competing against your personal best every time you walk in the door.
All right, everybody, big round of applause for these two, huh? Isn't this cool? Isn't this cool? I gotta say, this workout, it's awesome. It's just awesome. All right, so rounding out the end here, the very last thing, I'm going to invite my Kiwi friend to come on down here. So this last bit's going to be real kind of, I think, to the point. Next month, we're probably going to have more to share. So one of the things that we've seen a lot about is with AI, it's going to the cloud. So then there's things like GDPR, And then California's like, we're the EU too. But a lot of that gets circumvented by doing something on device. And so if you think about a computer at the edge of the internet, edge device, for those that have heard the term before, maybe don't know what an edge device is, think about like your doorbell camera. It's a device that's at the edge of the internet, right? It's not providing repeating connection to anything else. It's that last mile. So what I'm going to do in just a moment, so Ian and I have not practiced this at all. We've talked about this a ton, but we have not practiced this presentation at all. You can attest to, okay.
Completely unrehearsed.
Completely unrehearsed. So I have a daughter. Now, the thing about my daughter is she's medically fragile is the term. So she turned 10 this year, and I'm really excited about that because when she was 2, her doctor wasn't sure she would live till 3. You might think, wow, that's pretty heavy, and it is. Now, there's a very specific problem that is not solved by any good technology right now. So my daughter has, fortunately she hasn't been having them, but she was having seizures up to 30 a day. In case you're wondering, if you have 1 a week, that's bad. So 30 a day is pretty horrific. It's important to let the doctor know when they're happening and how they're happening and track all of that. And when a child has a seizure, not only are they a little bit of at a risk to themselves because their tongue can like choke them out and stuff like that, it's also just, it's hard to log all of this stuff, so, and you don't hear them. So one of the devices that exists is $500. It's a mat that you put under their mattress, and when they're having the seizure, it measures the vibrations, and then it beeps, and then the beep can set off the baby monitor, and then you can hear and see what's going on. Now, one of the things that's really cool is with these edge devices and the value of computing and these AI models we're having is Ian and I are going to work on and are working on a device that's basically a device with a camera that can actually watch and monitor for the seizure activity and log everything as it happens. So this way it's not just, is there a buzzer going off, but actually being able to track what's happening, so this way it can get connected directly with medical providers. So, Ian, I don't know if you'd like to share a little bit about what you've been researching and finding on about this, but as a sort of a jumping off point, a lot of this isn't technology that's overly complicated right now. It just hasn't been applied this way. Is that fair?
I would say that's true. Yeah.
If you want it. I mean, you're good with that.
I would say that's true.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, look, this is a very new project, and kind of the reason why we wanted to talk about it is so that we can get a little bit of feedback and see what people think of it. I've done, just a few days research on this, so it's really quite fresh. But it seems like a reasonably doable problem to solve. Of course, when we first started talking about it, I was like, well, aren't there HIPAA problems and sort of regulatory problems? But really, if we talk about this in the way of a wellness device and just something that is, in the beginning at least, just trying to give parents more information on what's going on with their kids. If we take it from that angle, it seems like a good thing. And technologically, from what I can see, it's a reasonably doable technological thing to apply. But we're interested to see what people think of this. So,
yeah, you can keep that one.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing on this though too is, so the ask to everyone here, and this is pretty much the end of the presentations, but if you think about having a little device at home that can take in information, another use case for sort of this would be remembering if you took your pills or not, or any number of other things. So if you just imagine there's an edge device in your home that helps with any medical issues or monitoring stuff, anything like that, does anybody have any examples of situations where they think this type of technology might be helpful for them or a loved one? We've got someone. Oh my goodness, it's already working.
So I actually use one myself. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I actually have like a CGM on my arm that goes through my insulin pump into my phone and then goes to my doctor. And so I don't know, that's I guess an existing option that currently is out there.
That's interesting, right?
Well, I mean, let me ask you this. Since you're already using one device, would you imagine wanting to add more functionality? And I'll explain the engineering argument on this. Right, the engineering argument right now is we have tiny pocket supercomputers that connect to fucking satellites, right? These are our cell phones. We don't think of them this way, but by 1980 standards, this is the equivalent of a quantum computer today. So why isn't it taking in more data? Like your insulin readings are, from a data size perspective, negligible, but the value of the information is huge, right? So would you want to expand sort of the data that it's gathering? Like, could you imagine having sort of like and as far as data privacy, right? If this was an at-home self-hosted thing, you'd be in complete control of all of the data. Do you see that being something where you might want to expand on what's available?
Well, Medtronic is actually already doing that a lot on the device. So one of the most recent updates is called Closed Loop. They did do some other iterations, but it's using some AI formulas within the pump and then some extractions offloaded onto another server that actually does calibrate it better. University of Washington's been kind of trying to experiment with closed loop type 1 diabetic insulin delivery systems. So instead of me now having to input values for like my meals, it basically does it all automatically for me. So it's like I'm not even a type 1 diabetic. I just eat my food and I'm good to go, and no one even notices that I'm one. I don't think anyone noticed that, you know, I had an insulin pump or a CGM on my arm. It's like I go through my day just like anybody else. So in the concept of offloading that, a lot of companies are already doing that. And it's very simple to integrate, I'm sure. From a hardware perspective, you know, electronics are getting a lot smarter. So yeah, it's kind of already being done right now.
Which means it's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
There's one, well, just on that subject, what we're talking about is video, or not necessarily facial recognition, but it's the data that we can get from observability of really the human body. So it's a bit more than just an inserted device taking one kind of data. Is what can we tell through vision analysis?
So you basically have something like OpenCV with a bunch of sample data video?
Well, with specifically on seizures, it's monitoring a child overnight. And how many seizures is it having? How long are the seizures lasting? How extreme are they? So there's quite a lot of data that can't really be, I mean, this is an open forum, but can't really be collected any other way.
Yeah, how would you handle, or I guess what would your approach be to like the differences in how people sleep? Like some people are in like bunk beds, some people in like are different sheets, and so. Yeah,
there's nuances there. It's an infrared camera, and it's smart enough to detect.
So would you have like a bunch of like sample footage of like seizures that would then just like compare that data?
The way that I've been talking about it the way that I've been researching it so far is it begins with some measurements and does sort of more mathematical stuff, and then it learns over time.
Okay, so like a skeleton is pretty much presented and it does calculations on that?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. One of my kids actually has seizures, but we have them like on medicine, not as frequently as how many you're saying, but it's like maybe like once a month.
Right.
You know, that's some cool stuff. I don't know any company medically that does seizure monitors other than like a band that they put on the arm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Okay, cool. Okay.
All right. Oh, we've got our good friend Justin in the back.
So first off, this is like very like vision oriented, right? It's like monitoring. One thing that would, you know, just be useful, like, especially in like a gym, for example, like a high tech gym, is monitoring someone's like form, right? When they're exercising. I know I've tried different tools to like help with my posture.
Yeah.
And even when I try to think about it, like eventually like I'm leaning again. So I think things more so on like the health side has more of an applicable
that is interesting. And
like
I fucked up
audience.
my back from weightlifting, so I could have used this 20 years ago.
Yeah, that and then, you know, my wife like loves to like cook, and like how can we, you know, integrate that with like how you're preparing food, like wondering like what other things, like not just
that's
like
true.
It's obviously great to like solve like a very complex problem, but
Yeah.
also if you could solve a problem with the larger target audience,
Yeah.
you can better fund the more valuable thing.
That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just like those things I'm thinking of.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've started out with like deploying ML models to edge devices. That's what I've been messing around with for a couple of years now. So this is really the first time that I've, you know, come up with, well, Josh and I have come up with this idea that seems like a really good place to start. But I've started from the position of deploying models onto edge devices. That's really what I've been playing around with. I'm a DevOps engineer, so that kind of stuff weirdly turns me on. But like, yeah, that's an interesting application as well. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, so, we've got one more.
One more.
Doesn't have to be, but here you go.
So I actually work in the healthcare application side, IT side. So my question is, have you worked with or contracted out or sat down with a neurologist, right? So if you're taking in data and information, I understand it from on the application side, the information, because you see it, the doctors and nurses, they see this. That's who I would think this would be applicable for, or that would understand and can use this information for whatever patient you're trying to monitor, and then from there give you like a diagnosis of current state, anything that potentially could be happening, any alerts or something like that. That would be my recommendation. And then I guess the second is the manufacturers of these EMRs, because it's a tool for them. They're like, what? You have something that can gather, it's a sensor that can gather this information that we can use. They would definitely benefit from that. And so that would, yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, we should reach out to a neurologist.
Well, so to close with this on two parts. Part one, so my daughter had 4 brain surgeries. The third surgery was opening her skull open to put sensors between her brain and her skull. They left that in for 3 days. The fourth surgery was taking that all out. And during that time, there was 6 screens that looked like scrambled television that neurologists have been trained to read and understand. My bigger vision for the end part of the end game on it anyway is there's no way a human can interpret those screens the way that a computer can.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is when seizures are happening, it's lightning in a brain that is destroying a brain. And as a father, that's an enormously painful thing to sit there and know that your daughter's brain is being damaged and there's not fuck all you can do about it. So this version we're talking about right now solves the sort of earlier in the food chain or earlier in the process of let's just get some baseline data that's easy to grab. The challenge with going into the medical space is they're going to be very resistant to a lot of this technology, even though it could be radically transformative nearly instantly, which is why one of the things, and I adore Ian, he's a new friend. We've known each other for about 3 months, but we will likely know each other for quite a bit longer.
I hope so.
He had some pushback from me last night about how the man was going to hold us back. He didn't put it like that. My presentation earlier today in the AI session was basically my position on why I think the legal industry can go fuck itself. And I have similar feelings about the way that there's gatekeeping with medical advancements. And so I'm really excited to see where medical imaging can go. I hope that we lean into that a lot more.
Yeah, I'd like to.
But with that all said, thank you everybody for coming out today. Big round of applause for everybody that presented. Let it never be said that Vegas is not a place where technology and innovation is happening. And now one of the things that we're going to do, because there's a little bit of time here, we always like to do this. You guys might have seen some people you like here or want to get to know each other. So we're going to mingle. So feel free to say hi to people, chat with them. But thank you again for coming out, and we will see you next month.
Oh, yeah.